Nestled on an island in the mighty Hudson River, shrouded by the swirling mists of time, stands a castle unlike any other. Its name is Bannerman's Castle, a fortress with an untold story of ambition, arms, and the American dream. But its walls hold more than brick and mortar. They hold the life and legacy of one extraordinary man, Francis Bannerman. A man of wealth and vision, but also of controversy and chaos. Bannerman's creation has become a symbol of his rise to prominence, and his fall into obscurity. But to understand the mystery of Bannerman's castle, we must first understand the man behind the monument. Born in 1851 on the Isle of Man, Francis Bannerman came to the United States as a young boy. His family, like many others, sought a new life in the bustling metropolis of New York. But Francis was no ordinary immigrant. A keen sense of opportunity and a sharp business mind led him to an unexpected path, the one of arms dealing. By the late 1800s, Francis had built a thriving business dealing in military surplus. The U.S. government, along with private collectors and international buyers, needed his services. He became the go-to supplier for war materials, from cannons and rifles to flags and uniforms. He didn't just deal in weapons, however. He had a passion for the history of war, collecting relics of battles fought long before his time. In 1900, after decades of success, Bannerman's business had grown to such an extent that he needed a place to store his ever-expanding inventory. In the heart of the Hudson River, he found the perfect location, an island called Polypel Island, just off the coast of Beacon, New York. It was a strategic choice, a remote, rugged island that would serve as a secure base for his valuable stock. But Bannerman, being unable to do anything halfway, he simply didn't want a warehouse. He wanted a castle. Drawing inspiration from his love of military history, European architecture, and his own personal flair for grandeur, Bannerman designed a fortress worthy of his legacy. The castle would be both a place of business and a personal statement of his success. Construction began in 1901, and over the next several years, a striking structure began to take shape. Built of stone, the castle resembled something from the medieval past, complete with turrets and fortifications, but it was not merely a castle, it was a storehouse, a repository for arms and relics from around the world. As the castle grew, so did Bannerman's reputation. The island fortress became a symbol of his empire. He stored everything from obsolete military equipment to rare, valuable artifacts. People from across the country and even around the world came to buy, sell, and trade. But the castle was more than a warehouse. It was a testament to Bannerman's ambition and fulfillment of the American dream. Francis Bannerman wasn't just a businessman, though. This castle was his home, a place where he could live surrounded by the relics of the past for which he so cherished. In the world he had built all for himself. Here, he was both king and architect, modeling a dream out of the stone and steel. As the years passed, the castle's purpose evolved. By 1918, Bannerman's stockpile of military goods became a growing liability. One fateful day in 1920, disaster struck. A series of explosions rocked the island, sending debris into the river and shaking the local community. What was the cause? Faulty storage of ammunition and explosives. The blast left the island scarred, and much of the castle's grandeur was lost. Bannerman himself, though shaken, continued to run his business for a time, but the explosion marked the beginning of the end for the castle's use as a functioning warehouse. As the years wore on, Bannerman's castle, once a symbol of power and success, began to fade. Bannerman died in 1918, just 2 years after the explosion that had devastated his beloved island. The castle, now particularly abandoned and ravaged by time, remained a silent witness to one man's ambition and his ultimate decline. Bannerman's castle wasn't just a storage facility or a personal home. It was the embodiment of his personality, grand, eccentric, and filled with a deep sense of history. But in the end, it's a story of hubris. The explosions were a reminder that even the most meticulously built dreams can come crashing down, or in this case, skyward. Today, Bannerman's castle remains a curious relic of a bygone era. Although the building is no longer functional, its ruins continue to draw attention from tourists, historians, and those captivated by its unique blend of military history and architectural wonder. Bannerman's legacy lives on in the crumbling stone of his castle, an enduring monument to one man's vision. A vision that, in the end, was both grand and tragic. A castle that once echoed with sounds of industry now whispers of ambition, success, and the price of dreams.